Ladies and gents, the Riviera 50 Sports Motor Yacht. So if you're someone who's moving from 40 to 50 odd feet, this could be a very sensible life upgrade. What do I mean by that? If you're coming from an outboard powered boat, an inboard powered boat, and you are looking for things like more living space, a better offshore handling, but still a boat that you can confidently manage yourself or with minimal crew, it's a very sensible design to be looking at. It's going to do all of that for you, and you're still going to be quite familiar with what you already have on your current boat from an operational point of view. So my name's Dan Jones. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life, and welcome to Western Australia. These are the scenes you get in WA. It's absolutely amazing. Hopefully you'll appreciate some of these backgrounds. And coming up next, if you're seriously interested in this boat and you would like to join us for a sea trial, that's going to be the next video. We've got wind, we've got waves, we've got everything for you today. So it's a really fun and hopefully educational video. But in this one, we're focusing on the layout and features. So we're going to start up here in the bow, and then we're going to go right through the entire boat. So come up and check out this bow for me. Essentially, it's a no-nonsense anchoring setup on these boats. We have a dammed area just here to allow you to wash down the chain if it comes up dirty. These rollers, this system has been designed to straighten the anchor. So if the anchor comes up the wrong way, the weight will actually spin it around and then it will stow in the correct position. You can also option these with a camera so you can see exactly what's going on from the helm. So all you really need to do is release the safety, and then you can return to the helm and do everything from a nice elevated position with good viz. Beautiful stainless. Honestly, you can't fault Riviera on any of their stainless. You want to look in close and see where the stainless joins the next piece, and you'll see how highly it's been polished. If you're comparing boats, that's not always the case. If you see little bubbles or imperfections, what it means is they haven't sanded it right down or finished the stainless off, and eventually you will get rust, which is not something, a Riviera is going to be less prone to that because basically they've just spent more time sanding it all down. Nicely finished on the inside of the anchor locker. We've got fender storage in here. I've got currently 3 fenders, but 3 more stowed back aft because there's plenty of options for storage. I think that's what's nice about once you're moving up into that 50-foot size range, you've got lots of options, but you're not overloading yourself with work. So that's probably, hopefully that's going to make sense for quite a few of you if you're in your research mode. So salt, fresh, you can operate the windlass from up in the bow. That's for the clutch, and you got stowage for a bit of line in there as well. Access around the foredeck is awesome. Obviously we can walk around here. This is all well gripped on the fiberglass, and we have this sun lounge just here, which is perfect for a couple of people. It's built into it. It's got these cute little backrests, so that's super comfy. There is a cover that goes over this. You'll see us removing it in the test drive video, so you don't need to remove this cushion. It can stay and live up on the foredeck, but there's actually storage underneath here. So if you just undo this latch, this whole thing pops up on gas struts, and you can actually just lay the covers down in here quite easily. I was lazy and put them in these lockers because actually I did it on that one. That's the deep locker, and this should be the shallow locker just in here. So that's perfect for lines. And then you've got more space on the other side. We actually put the covers in there. You can also do fenders should you need, but just pay attention because we're on the same hull as the 505 SUV. So if you've already seen that one on my channel, it's behaves in a similar manner, but we do have more windage and more weight, so it is slightly different to that boat. So you want to think about your needs before you decide on which one to go for. But from an operational perspective, this is super handy because when seconds count, and that's going to be at the marina, being able to walk through here as opposed to up and over or around makes your life a lot easier, because as you will note, we've got the forward midship cleats just here, so that's going to be handy. You can obviously hang a fender off here. We've got some good gunnel protection just there. These windows will slide, no complicated mechanisms here, just manual. So if you want natural air ventilation, that's the go. We got the air conditioning on today because it's actually not too hot. It's nice thing about WA, the temperature's not overly humid. It's a dry heat, so it's quite comfortable and it's not too sweaty. These are the aft cleats. Downlights just there, breathers for the tanks, breathers for the engine room. This is actually giving you privacy, but then you can still see out from the inside, and we'll go in there in a second. It's pretty cool. Just coming down these last little stairs, and we're going from the GRP onto the teak. Now, if you wanted to teak all the way forward, that's up to you. And I know a lot of people in other parts of the world enjoy that. Here in Australia, we would just consider that more maintenance. And so we're just gonna opt for the teak in the high traffic areas. But this is cool. These safety rails will actually stow in this location, so they don't have to be out here all the time. But when you are setting this up in party/lunch mode, I think it's a good idea, because then everyone's going to feel a little bit safer, particularly, is what I was trying to say, in WA, where there's a few bitey things in the ocean. So we can stow a tender on the platform here. This is a hydraulic drop-down platform, but there's also an option to fit a davit crane and stow one on the bow in this model, should you wish. Talk to your dealer. And then access on board, we actually have two opening doors, one here, another one on the port side. That's it. If you have a tender and it takes up all the space on the transom, you won't be able to cross from starboard to port, so you do need a door on either side when you're boarding, because this is going to be the easiest place. And see, having these rails in here, it means you got two grab holds when you're stepping off, so it's quite safe and comfortable. Now, this is the obviously entertainment, fishing, you do your sports activity, whatever you want to do. It's a bit of a multifunctional area. Rivieras maybe were traditionally more fishing focused. I would argue that they're much more luxury, day boating, bit of everything these days. So yes, people can do their fishing. We've got a live bait tank here if you wish, but it's being utilized for line storage at the moment. So underneath us, just here, is storage, and then we've got more storage just here that looks like it's insulated and that's drained as well. Then we have access into the engine bay underneath these two, but I'm just going to show you proper Barbie, two plates, heat protection, lights. It's got a safety, we've got a sink, hot and cold, drink holders. This is proper Aussie setup here, which is perfect. We are protected by a little bit of rain protection, you could argue, and sun protection depending on how high the sun is just here. So that makes this whole area very, very usable. And then we've got a bin and some storage in here. We've got shore power storage and connection just in here, so you can run a line out through the hole just here and onto the dock. Rod holders, that's actually for stowing a fender. That's not for securing the boat, because you would secure the boat on that one there and take it through the beautiful stainless fair leads. We've got a swim shower just here. That's manual bilge pump, storage, and another shore power storage just in here. We don't have the lines on board. You do have a plug-in as well, because those lines live on the dock on this one. There's your ice maker location just there, and we've got our outside fridge just here. So that's a nice one. Heavy insulation, totally fine in tropical conditions. Can't be said for all boats, but on Rivieras you don't have to worry about that. They've been designed for the heat. So this is super cool. I really, really like this design, and you will see this in the SUV as well. And I guess the question you need to ask yourself is the extra real estate and living areas available to you on this design more important, because that's you know, probably where the biggest differences lie, because you do have a lot of extra usable real estate. So this is a lovely space. This table, loads of coats of varnish, and it will reduce in size. We've got our drink holders there, and this is actually movable, this little puffy thing, so you can put your feet up on it, or you can turn it into the L-shaped lounge. We've got speakers here and here, and then you can just sort of see through, but your best views are out this way, and it's kind of creates a little bit of a private space, and then you can select the view, which is lovely. It's worth pointing out, we went into this in more detail in the next video, that's where all your manual switch locations are, your battery switches. However, you don't need to do anything in there ordinarily, because you have the C zone. We'll cover that in a second. Then we've got a little bit of storage here, fridge operation. This lounge is super sweet because it will also transform into a daybed. So this area is going to be great if you just want to get out of the cold or the heat and just stay out of the wind or have some privacy. What you don't have is the windows or the skylights in the roof, which you would have in the SUV, because we've got usable space up here. So if you've got kids or grandkids that you're thinking about, they're going to be potentially up there, and we'll get there in a second. But you still have centerline grab holds and then grab holds either side. It's very, very good. It's a very good offshore design, this one, from a moving around perspective, because there's something to hold on to everywhere you go. So this is big opening window, beautiful stainless steel. It's got a locking mechanism, super strong gas strut, so you don't actually need to put too much physical effort into it. And then this door just slides open and locks in the open position. So you're only coming up this tiny little step here, and then you're on flat floor all the way in. But what I want to do is take you straight up the stairs, and we'll come back to this area. A little bit of storage in here. I'm not going to open everything because it's a privately owned boat, and thank you to the owners for letting us use your boat. You've done a great job looking after this one because she's pretty neat. But those stairs grab holds with the stainless steel on the way up, and this is going to be the deciding factor for many of you. Actually, I want you to see what I'm seeing. So you guys go over here, check out this view. It's absolutely stunning, this place. The water is amazing. Few reefs to watch out for on your way in, but once you're in here, it's a little paradise. It's an absolute paradise. And because we are fully enclosed, we've got the clears on this one, which will all zip up and roll up if you choose. But then from here forward, we're on glass. The air conditioning is powerful, so it's a real choose your climate situation. So I was talking about this in the next video coming up, if you're interested. I think for those of you who are looking to go boating in all seasons, that's perhaps when an enclosed Flybridge might make a lot of sense to you. A lot of the European style boats that I also test on the channel are more focused to just go boating in the summer seasons, because they go for the open Flybridges, which is cool, it's fun. I love having wind in the hair, but not necessarily practical in all climates. So having this ability to kind of choose your climate in here just opens your weather windows for you being able to still go boating in different conditions. So that's another consideration for you. But we can open the windows here. We've actually got skylights openable up above. Good amount of overhang from the roof. So it's the middle of the day. It's 2 p.m. right now, so the sun's quite high. It is hot, but you can see we're mostly shaded, so it's comfortable from the hot sun. And then come in and let's have a look at the dash, because this is obviously the primary helm station. We do have some wing stations aft and one below, which I actually forgot to show you, but it was the port side aft. But this is a great space. Everything at hand. A comfortable space with your footrest here. These seats will adjust depending on how tall you are, but we can do triple screens. They're multifunctional displays, so you can run everything from radar, engine diagnostics to chart plotters, you name it. You can have cameras looking aft, engine bay, wherever you mount them. So this facilitates that. The dark colors around the screens is going to stop too much glare or reflection when the sun is in the wrong angle. And then we've got our second C zone just here. I'll point out the primary one when we get back downstairs, but this is a great system and it makes life easy because you just press cruising as opposed to dock unattended, and it switches everything on that you're going to need for the day to go boating. So it's quite simple. So air conditioning on either side, drink holder here. This is the Volvo Penta diagnostics display. We can operate the anchor windlass here. You can facilitate these with cameras as well on all the Rivieras if you option it, and so that you don't even need to have someone on the bow to look at the chain. And then you've got your spotlight here, your fusion stereo. We've got the gyro control here, which is powered from the Jenny. And then we've got, it's obviously an IPS, so we've got the joystick here. We have the DPS function, really, really good option to have if you are going to be solo boating. Ignition, start, stops. This is your throttles. They're electronic throttles just here. And you've got a lot of your necessary systems like the wipers, super handy to have, navigation, lights, and horn just here, and VHF. And then this is a keypad, but all of these screens are actually touch screens, so that's just a backup if you need. This one is adjustable, so we can manipulate this a little bit, and then you can actually option different seats, so it's kind of like you do you with the helm chairs, but they are adjustable and they do have space to go back, but I have short legs, so that one's all the way forward. So it's speaker underneath here. I told you about, no, I didn't tell you, red lights just here for nighttime navigation. So the other ones are all white, and I'm pretty sure they're LED. And we've got grab hold down the center line just here, more speakers. And this is a very, very nice place to be, particularly if you've optioned the gyro. So if you are a little bit prone to getting seasick, I would recommend getting the gyro, because the higher you go on any vessel, the more rocking you're going to have. So you could argue that's not a positive on a Flybridge vessel, because we have more weight aloft. So we counter that with the gyro. If you're not used to or not a seasoned boater, just double check that or go for a test drive first, because sitting at rest, rocking around does make some people queasy, and that can ruin your day. But the solution is the gyro. So we can still cut this one in half. That's useful for people who need to go to the dunny and just step out like that. We do have a little bit of open storage underneath, but this table can be manipulated down, and then we can also turn this whole space by lowering this backrest so it sits on these stoppers here. We can turn this into a bed, which is going to be perfect for the grandkids, because the accommodation downstairs is more than enough for all the adults, and we can still do a couple of kids as well because we've got 3 cabins. So that's nice to have that extra option, and again, that might be the deciding factor for some people who are thinking the extra real estate is necessary. So we've got a fridge just here. This is our second wing station, or maybe we call it the first wing station, but this one is on starboard, so we can roll this up if we want to get a head out and have a better sight line forward and aft. So if you were coming in on starboard on this particular setup, it's going to be easier because the lower wing station is on port. However, you can option it with a wing station on port and starboard downstairs, so it's not a problem. There are USB charging points dotted around for charging your phones, and I should also just tell you, inside here, massive deep storage going all the way underneath. So if you wanted to roll up some deflated stand-up paddleboards, that sort of thing, they might store well in there. Also good storage is just ventilation here. That's AC there, in there. And this is a comfy place to be. And that angle with a cushion is really nice for hanging out here, but also on passage, because I can communicate with these guys here. Skipper and navigator are like right there, so it's all very social. So that's kind of fun, which is what boating is all about. Now this is important. It's on a gas strut because it's heavy, but we will close this in a heavy seaway so we don't lose any people down the stairs, because that'd be quite nasty if we did. But if you are transiting, you can just go forward on this one because they're proper stairs, and you can hold on here, and then when you get here, there's more stainless to hold on to. You've got plenty of options. So just be careful if you're in a big seaway, but it's not really a drama. Come on down, let's check out the galley. So this is the heart of the boat, and it's lovely, but we've got this U-shaped setup, and we have more on the starboard side, but I'm going to focus here. I'm not going to open everything because it's none of my business, but we've got storage in here, ventilated. We've got storage here and some drawers just here, but loads and loads of refrigeration. So we had the fridge out back, we got the fridge upstairs, and then we got another one here, a dishwasher just here, beautiful storage, artisan. Is that a microwave or a stove? Do you know, mate? Microwave. I gotta do more cooking. I always get stuck on these things. Okay, microwave, I think. Jump in the comments if you know more than me. That's 2 hot plates, and then we got an air extraction tucky thing just up here, and then lots of storage up across the top for bits and pieces, but there is more. So all of your workspace sensibly laid out, but we actually have more refrigeration. We got one of these Verifrigos. I think this one can also be a freezer. I'm pretty sure it's this one because I've seen this on other boats here. So fridge, possibly freezer, storage, primary control for the stereo, and then probably a sensible place to charge and place phones and laptops and bits and pieces, because you got your charging points there. You can see I've actually got my drone batteries on charge right now, and they're kind of out of the way. However, you could potentially use that as a coffee station, but as you can see, these owners have already got their coffee set up over here, so you got options, AC, power, and this is the primary C zone. So just come in, have a look. I do point this out on all the Riviera videos, but if you're new to this brand, because a couple of guys have been writing to me from Germany recently, have just discovered the brand, and good for you. This is super simple. So it's gonna be on dock unattended when you're at the marina, and you will literally just come here and press cruising. You'll turn the generator on, which is going to be up here, and all you have to do is just press start. It'll just do the preheat and everything for you. It'll fire up, and you don't even need to do anything else. Once you disconnect shore power from the shore and stow the cable, it will automatically switch from shore to ship. So you don't have to do anything, and you just press cruising, and all of the necessary switches will go on to go cruising. If you then are at your destination and you want to have a party, you just press entertainment for party time, and then when you want to have a nap, you just press sleep time, and then that's moonlight. So it just does everything for you. Obviously there's more details which we could dive into in more detail on another video, but it's super user friendly. This is your primary bin. We have another bin out back. This can be washed out if it gets dirty, if you get some bin juice in the bottom, and we've got these blinds all the way around the boat. So we have, you can option it with external blinds. That's the trick. They're on these little like stainless wires, so they're not gonna rock around, and importantly, they're not gonna come across the cooker here. Even though I would actually probably get that one out of the way if I was doing some cooking. Seems logical. So I've covered everything here. Just pay attention to the design of the roof. Nice soft furnishings, and I think it's complemented quite nicely with this timber down the middle. So again, if you're in a seaway, things to hold on to, and more things to hold on to, which is handy. And then let's jump in here and have a little look. This is lovely. And how many people would we get in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna say 8 would be comfortable in here for hanging out. So it's a really good space, and we can also option that with an infill on the starboard side to do another bed by the looks of it. And then obviously this is for some interior dining, but we can open this window here. We've got a drawer for storage underneath us just on the aft end of this L-shaped lounge, and then there is some air conditioning underneath me. This panel here actually lifts up for deep storage, which is a good place for electronics when they're not in use. And then on this side, if you're doing some serious cruising, which this boat has already done, all of this is going to be a great place for storing you know, extra items and perhaps food items that don't need to be refrigerated. So that's pretty good setup just there. I think these switches here from memory allow us access to get into the roof for maintenance. I'm pretty sure, because I can see the hinge just here. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening there. Don't hold me to it. And this is, can someone please, this is clearly a TV, but it's been doing these beautiful pictures all day. I didn't know you could do that with TVs, but it's like changing artwork. It's super lovely. Pay attention to it, because that'll change sometime soon. So it's kind of like some artwork, but it's also a TV. I think it's a good use of the available space. So that's everything. I think from here, we're going to go downstairs and check out the accommodation. So come on down to the VIP, which is lovely. Beautiful big hull windows, which you are going to, when you're sitting on bed, you're going to be able to appreciate these views. It's quite comfortable, but you can still sit up in bed. And then immediately above the bed on either side, we have deep storage lockers, 1, 2, and then we do have privacy blinds. So you can't see in in the daytime, but of an evening you would if you had the light on inside. 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers underneath, so that's going to be good for some bedding, extra blankets and things, because you could probably hang all of your clothes in either of these lockers on either side, port and starboard. And you do have, it's going to double up as the day head, you do actually have private access through a door behind this door to go into this head. So toilet, separate shower just here. I'll jump in for perspective. So that's how much space you have in here. I think you would probably open the door this way. That makes more sense. Otherwise you're going to struggle closing that when you're going in here. But storage underneath, nice little vanity. We also have storage behind the mirrors. You do have natural air ventilation, not necessary because we have the air conditioning. And then that's the air conditioning vent there. And behind this door is the other door going into the cabin. Deep storage below the floor here. I'm just going to show you their tools because I thought that was neatly laid out. That's pretty cool. So great place if you're doing some serious cruising, which these owners are. I think you guys should actually come this way and we'll have a look at quickly the kiddies cabin, as I often refer to it, but adults can totally sleep in here fine because that's a beautifully big bed. We do have the windows. On the lower bunk, we have the reading lights, and this one is a little bit drawing the short straw because you don't have the windows, but it's perfectly comfortable. And then we have the storage, proper locker, couple of drawers, bedside table, and there is charging on this side. Again, air conditioned, super comfy carpet. But then when we open this door, so you guys go in here, and when you actually close this door to the VIP, we actually have access to the washer and the dryer. That's why these are ventilated. So the washer and dryer is behind there, but you've actually got, when you step into the master, you've got this beautiful walk-in wardrobe. So you can do lots of storage there. We've got hanging and extra space for deck chairs or captain's chairs, which can go in there. So it's super nice. And then you actually come in and go aft to the full beam master, which is lovely. Before we get there, you've got your own private toilet, separate shower. It's a bigger shower stall this time, a little bit more space to move around in here. Beautifully done. And I just like all the textured, you know, even though this is fiberglass, it looks like timber on the roof, so it's nicely done. The colors are really nice. We do have views out onto the water, and all of these ports, just come in and have a look at this. I'm not sure if you can see that from there. This wire is actually an alarm. So if you have a little boo-boo and you start driving with a window or a port light open, it will let you know at the helm so you don't embarrass yourself and wet the cabin by the time you get back to your destination. So that's kind of handy. So you're going down a couple of stairs. They've all got lights underneath, but you will notice the roof line facilitates, you know, people of my stature, and I'm 5'7", that much taller, to stand up here, and walking around the bed is possible as well. I'll show you that in a second. But lots of storage running down the port side and a deeper storage under here, so that's going to be potentially good for throw cushions when you're using the bed, or you could just chuck them up here as well, no worries. But notice the window, beautiful big views out through here. So obviously it's the master cabin, but what you won't notice is actually decent storage on port and starboard up here, so that's pretty handy. And then you've got a bedside table on either side with some 240. We've also got 12 volt USBs, decent amount of storage, and this lip will keep your phones and things in place of an evening. Air conditioning control next to the bed, and as you cross over you actually step down, so you still have headroom going around the bed. And look how nice the finish here is around the TV with the timber, the soft finishings. What Riviera do, they actually embed like a sound absorption material into a lot of the bulkheads in between the cabins, so it actually stops the transfer of sound from cabin to cabin and makes it a more comfortable place to stay longer term. But on the starboard side, this is super neat. So this is great. You can just hang out here, you can enjoy the views, you can be away from everyone, you've got your own private space, more storage, privacy blinds, natural ventilation if you want. I'm just going to shut up for a second because the gen set is on. And that's what you hear. So you could still come down here and have a kip if you need. And we've also got the bedside table, nice mirror, beautiful little overhead, timber finishing, and this is cute. I probably shouldn't touch that because it might leave marks, I don't know. But that's very nice. It's actually, it's soft, and I'm pretty sure the fuel tank is underneath the bed because a lot of the rivs will do it in that manner for weight and balance. But they're an integrated fuel tank. I've seen them putting them together at the factory. Very interesting. Let's head up on deck. So primary access into the engine bay is via this main hatch. So we're back in the alfresco area now, and you probably come down the ladder like this. And for a bloke of my stature, it's almost, pass me the camera, it's almost a stand-up engine room bay. You can probably see me here. So I've almost got full head height, but I'll take you around the forward bulkhead now. So we've got the Jenny on starboard, we've got some refrigeration, and then power distribution, fireboy system, fuel filters, vacuum flush, more refrigeration. You can see tankage. We're now on the port side. There's your primary pickups, and this is the port motor. They're the IPS 950s. And then now we're coming back to the center line, and you've got engine batteries, gyro on its own special mount on the center line. You can see you've actually got plenty of space to move around aft, but on the starboard side we have that overhead hatch. There you go. So that's natural light coming in through there. But then if you look at the center line, that's the molding of the storage bin, and we have the same again on port side. So it just gives you an option to vent this area, but also get overhead access on the IPSs, and you could remove that storage box, I'd say, on the port side if you had to get in there for anything critical. Coming down the starboard side, you got lots of good access around these motors, tankage again across on the starboard side, and even things like sight gauge for the diesel just there. Isn't that good to see? And another thing, it's always worth pointing this out, they just go to the extra level of detail. Hopefully you can see that. All the torsion wrenches have been used to get everything to a consistent standard, which is great. It's not too hot in here. I guess it's good having that hatch. I can vent it out a little bit. Nice ones. I couldn't not come back up here. It's just so bloody beautiful. So we'll wrap the video for you. Come and I'll have a seat. I'll just sit here. This is great, guys. If you haven't been to WA, you got to get over here. I think potentially end of summer too. Don't mind the chain doing its thing because it's probably 22 knots now, maybe a little bit more. So the 50. She is a real nice piece of kit. Who's going to see the greatest value out of owning one of these? And what do you need to consider when buying a boat like this? I think those of you who need the extra real estate for whatever mission that is, whether it's people or whether it's you, are going to see the most value out of owning a vessel like this. What do you need to consider? You need to consider the extra windage if you haven't had a Flybridge vessel before, and you need to consider where you're going to park the boat and how you're going to get it in and out of the pen. It's very, very manageable. It's of a size that literally the number of steps it takes to get from the bow to the stern are not overly great. It's got enough weight and mass and stability about it to be comfortable in most or pretty much all situations. I'd take this thing on serious coastal cruising anywhere. So it's that nice sort of mix where it's great coastal cruising, it's a great day boat, it's a great liveaboard, and in particular for this market, for the WA market, I know I'm speaking niche now, these moorings are here at Rotto. If you want the moorings which are closer into the beach, you want to be around about this size. Once you get into bigger boats, you're out there with the sharks. So just consider that, because that's actually quite an important thing for any of the locals. So yeah, those are things to consider. You also want to consider your gyro or no gyro, and I'm gonna put a bet on that pretty much 80% of you are gonna have a better life if you get the gyro, particularly if you're going to be bringing the family, because it will be a little bit more rocky and rolly without it, and that is something you'll have to be aware of if you're coming from a sedan. So how does it drive? How is this hull in the rough water, in the windy conditions and in the calm conditions? We will be doing that in the very next video. Click on the link coming up on the screen anytime now. And also, if you want to see a bit more information, and if you want to post some questions and see video responses, those are on my Patreon. Link is in the description below. Love you lots. See you in the next video. Thanks, guys.